What is up, my colleague friends? Welcome to the video. Thank you for clicking on the link or unmuting it, whatever platform you happen to be watching this on. I got a cool little drill, a little calibration exercise, surprise, surprise, that I want to show you guys. I kind of put this together with like self-defense in mind. But before I get into it, I actually want to chat at you a little bit. I want to talk to you for a little bit about actually self-defense. This last week, I was out in the community here in Long Beach and was passing out some business cards for my web design business and ran into a couple of people that actually watch these videos, you know, some of the business owners, which was really cool. Thank you, by the way, I appreciate that. But it kind of got me thinking, you know, these people aren't the people I talk to, as far as I know, like they're not martial artists and they don't do Kali, they don't come to my classes. And so it kind of got me thinking, like, why do they watch my videos? Thank you. I mean, that's great. It's awesome that you do. But I was like, you know, why? And kind of what I've come to in my head is that, you know, maybe people watch these videos that are interested in self-defense, even though they might not be coming out to like my classes. And so I kind of wanted to talk about self-defense a little bit with you guys and kind of give you my perspective on it and various ways of being able to defend yourself, whether you're using weapons or not. First of all, what is self-defense? Like, really? As far as I know, the way that I would define self-defense is it is defending yourself against some form of attacker or attackers in using the only as much force as is necessary to either subdue that attacker or get away to a safe place. That's actually super important because it's to understand that it's only as much force as is necessary. And what's crazy about this, the more I was thinking, I've really been thinking about this. You don't actually get to be the one that decides whether or not you used more force than was necessary. It's most likely going to be a judge or a jury, depending on what the situation is, right? And so, you know, when I've talked to people about my classes and things, and even some of my own students kind of joke around about, you know, when something is hard or whatever, they're just like, I would just, you know, pull out my gun and boom. And I think, you know, there's actually a lot of people that feel that way. There's a lot of people that think about firearms like that, you know, I don't need to learn this or that type of self-defense. I carry, and so I'm good. And in my opinion, that's actually kind of scary because the most dangerous police officer is an untrained police officer, because a police officer has a gun strapped to their waist all day, every day when they're at work. And if that officer gets into a conflict and they don't have any other options besides going to their belt, that's a dangerous person. How much more is the individual that has their concealed carry permit? How much more dangerous is that person than this untrained officer, right? If this person doesn't even, because there's some people that are around that, you know, they do carry, but they don't really go to the range all that much, and you know, they don't really practice drawing and things like that. If that's you, I highly recommend that you change that. Because the thing is with self-defense, this is real life, right? This is not a movie. This is reality. And the reality is if you shoot somebody in self-defense, you're gonna get arrested. Like that's all there is to it. Whether or not you were innocent, the officer that shows up, it is not his job to determine whether or not you're innocent. It's his job to make sure that you show up to court so that a judge can decide, or a jury can decide, whether or not you're innocent. So if you shoot somebody, you're gonna go to jail. Just know that, whether or not you're innocent. There's a high likelihood that you're gonna go to prison if you shoot somebody. Because, like I said, it's not you that gets to decide whether or not you use too much force. It's a judge or a jury that makes that decision. And where you live, like what state, what community you live in matters. There's a lot of politics around firearms. Who you shoot matters. Your color of skin as opposed to the color of skin of the person that you shot. Multiple ways there. White, black, Asian, Hispanic, depends on the community, depends on who you are, right? There's a lot of noise around firearms. So I just wanted to say that because I feel like there's a lot of people in the world that just think about self-defense and they think that, I can just carry and I'm good. That's just not the case. If you carry and you don't train with your weapon, you're actually more of a liability than you are an asset in any kind of a situation where you actually have to defend yourself or somebody else, okay? You cannot substitute training, you guys. That's just the reality of life. If you carry, you gotta be working with that weapon. Otherwise, you're a dangerous person, really. But I personally, so thinking about other options, right? Because shooting somebody is a big deal, all right? It really is, which is why I do martial arts, because I don't have to shoot somebody. It's also why I carry a knife. This is actually my preference is for self-defense is carrying a knife. I like open carry, straight blade. That's just my personal preference. There's a lot of people who like folders, but I prefer it because as far as like self-defense goes, there's a deterrent factor a little bit there, with seeing somebody walk around with a knife. Having a knife strapped to your waist in a open carry position is nowhere near as threatening as somebody having a firearm with open carry, right? Because this is a tool. This first and foremost, and this is why I like it. This is why I like, there's a lot of reasons why I like a knife. First and foremost, this is a tool. I just opened the package before I came in here with this. I open stuff with this all the time, and a pinch makes a halfway decent screwdriver, if you need it. This is primarily a tool. I use it all the time. So it's very good to carry a knife on you because it's super useful. Secondary purpose of the knife is as a self-defense weapon. Now, the reason why I really like, the knife as my preferred self-defense weapon is because it is easier for you to be non-lethal with a knife. For one, it's easier for you to be non-lethal with a knife than it is to be non-lethal with a firearm. You shoot somebody, boom, boom, boom. It's basically like just all thrusting. With a knife, your thrust, your penetrating strikes, that's like you're doing major damage with that. But with a knife, you also have the ability to do your slashes too, right? So I could come up at somebody and boom, cut them across the chest, cut open, maybe they're wearing a jacket, cut open their jacket, ruin their jacket, don't actually cut them. They understand they're messing with somebody that knows what they're doing, and that will hit them with this thing. And that'll break their mind, that breaks their will. It's easier to preserve life, in my opinion, with something like a knife than it is with a firearm. Also, I'm sure everybody's heard that old adage, don't bring a knife to a gunfight type of a deal. Well, there's been a lot of studies since people started saying that. And if you have your firearm holstered, anybody that has done like legit weapons training will tell you this. If you are carrying and you have your firearm holstered and somebody else has a knife like already in their hand and they are less than 21 feet away from you, this weapon is actually more dangerous because the speed of this weapon. And if somebody knows how to move through space while they're moving this weapon, there's not very. The only weapon that I could see being more lethal than this in close quarters is something like this, right? But you can't walk around with a sword, right? Which is why I carry the knife. Also, I'm more so thinking about ambush situations, and ambush situations, the vast majority of times, just about 100% of the time, happen within 8 feet. So that's like the width of a parking space. That's not my data. I'm telling you what I learned from Paul Ingram's videos at Paul E Center, okay? And using a weapon in that period of that space, that distance, it's just you're in a close quarters situation. And as far as close quarters goes, this weapon is, in my opinion, second to none. But suppose you don't want to carry a gun because you don't want to go to the range. It's expensive to, rounds are not getting cheaper. You know, you talk to anybody that likes to shoot, they will tell you it is not getting any cheaper to shoot those guns. And if maybe you don't want to have a firearm, maybe a knife, you don't really want to deal with a knife, you don't really like the idea of carrying around a knife, you do have other options as well. Hand-to-hand, let's talk about hand-to-hand real quick. I've got one other option too that I want to show you guys, actually a couple of them. But hand-to-hand, your hand-to-hand combat, this is, the way that I think about self-defense is like how lethal you can be and how easily, right? With hand-to-hand, I think my Danzanru Jiu-Jitsu instructor years ago said it best. He said that your skill level has to increase the larger that your opponent is than you. So the bigger somebody is in a hand-to-hand situation, the more difficult they're going to be to subdue. The smaller you are as a person in a hand-to-hand situation, the more difficult time you're going to have defending yourself. It's just how it goes. That's why you have weight classes in things like MMA competitions and wrestling and stuff like that. It matters, especially with hand-to-hand. But you add a weapon to the mix, it doesn't matter as much, because the way I like to think about it is weapons against weapons hurts nobody. Weapons against flesh hurts one person. Flesh against flesh hurts both people. So, and if you don't believe me, go do some MMA competitions. Even if you win, and the strikes that you land on that other person, it hurts. The human bodies are bony. Bone against bone doesn't feel good, I will tell you that. So hand-to-hand is a good option, but it's not as easy to be lethal, and it is the easiest way to be overcome in a self-defense situation. Because if the person is bigger than you, or if they have a weapon, they have the advantage just naturally. And people, if you're talking, ambush situations, somebody's not gonna ambush you unless they see you as a victim. And unless they see you as somebody that they have a clear natural advantage over. So if you get ambushed, you should assume that you are already at a disadvantage for some reason or another, which is why it's really good to have some sort of a weapon, because this puts the advantage back to you, right? This gives you the advantage if you can draw a weapon. But suppose, hand-to-hand isn't really the deal. You don't want to get a knife. This is something that I've carried around for years. Let's see if I can show this. It's a little keychain weapon here. I got this on some martial arts supply website years ago. Makes got a nice little point, and then it turns your keys into something akin to like nunchucks. It turns your keys into a flexible weapon with your reverse grip daga type of thrusts that you can do with this. Now, you can be kind of lethal with this if you absolutely had to be. It's difficult to do, so you're gonna have a better opportunity of defending yourself and not going to prison for doing so. Let me remind you, if you defend yourself with a weapon, there's a good chance you're gonna get arrested, okay? That's reality, that's real life, all right? the less damage you do to somebody, the better you're off in the long run, okay? So just think about that when you're thinking about the self-defense weapons. This, in my opinion, is a very good option because you can do a good amount of damage to somebody that attacks you without having to worry about being too lethal. And then my last option is the one that I'm actually going to do the drill with today. So I'm going to stop talking at you after 15 minutes. Thank you for listening. If you're still watching, listening to this rant, I appreciate it, and I really hope it's helpful for you guys. But the last one that I have is actually one of my favorite weapons. This is something that I carry with me when I go on hikes. This is something that I recommend to women that are wanting to be able to defend themselves, but don't really like the idea of guns and knives so much. Like there's, for a lot of people, you know, not just women, there's a lot of people that don't really, that just doesn't set well with. And if that's you, this is actually a really good option in my opinion. This is a collapsible baton. This is something that's not too heavy. You can carry it around in a purse really easily. I mean, I had it in my back pocket this whole time. You can, you know, put it in a pocket pretty easily. This is one that has a glass break on the end of it. You see that? That's what that is. That's for if you get trapped in a car somehow or somewhere with windows and you need to break your way out, you can. So it's got a tool functionality to it. There's multiple functionalities with multiple purposes rather with this self-defense weapon. And one of the things I like about it is because you can use this as kind of like a short weapon for your more close-in type of spaces. This is very sharp. This does not feel good to get poked with. So you've got all of your thrusts, right? All of your reverse grip movement you can apply to this weapon. But one of the things that I really like about it is the intimidation factor of something like this. Because with self-defense, the whole thing is like, if you can break somebody's will to attack you, you don't have to cause damage to them, and you can keep yourself out of jail. Okay, that's real. It's if you can keep somebody from attacking you, if you see somebody's coming and you can stop that attack and get out of there without having to cause any physical harm, you won. That's great. This is a good weapon for that because when you open it and you stand here and you're ready after this hurts. You get hit with something like this hurts. That creates a psychological effect too, right? Okay. This also is going to give you a lot more reach than something like a knife, obviously. So range is good. Range is king in combat, in my opinion. One of the things before I get to the drill that I really like about this is because it is something that you can easily defend yourself with. It's collapsible. You can take it with you to a lot of different places, put it in pockets, bags, all kinds of stuff, right? But you can cause a lot of damage to somebody, but it's hard to kill somebody with this thing. And that's important when you're talking about defending yourself. Being able to really do some damage to somebody if you have to, but you don't gotta worry about like putting somebody in a morgue, right? Nobody wants that. You don't want that on your conscience. That's when you think about, oh, I can just pop, shoot somebody. Now you gotta live with that, okay? So something like this gives you options. Options are super, super important when it comes to self-defense, all right? So this is the weapon that I'm gonna use for our drill because you can utilize basically all of the Espada techniques with this. In Kali, look at the length. This is my rattan. It is almost exactly the same length, right? Okay, so very, very good weapon for the Kali practitioner. Let's get into this drill. Thank you for the rank. Listen to it. Show you guys the footwork here. All right, so this is the map that we're going to use. This is what's called your ranging star. If you can learn how to do this, you will be able to defend yourself in all kinds of situations, I promise you. Okay, so let me back this up a little bit. And this is how you stand on this, all right? So what we're gonna do, I'll show you the footwork first. So we're gonna step left 45 first, and I put all this together for varying reasons that I'm not gonna get into for the length of the video. It's already way too long. But we're gonna go left 45 first. We're stepping up with both feet there. This foot doesn't go past the arch of the front foot. And we're gonna come back and we're gonna turn right 45. Boom. Notice how I'm coming right up that tape. And then I'm gonna go right 90 and turn my body. Then come back to the middle, step left 90, turn my body. Now I'm gonna go out on what's called universal evasion angle, this line right here. Boom, coming back and stepping back forward. Then I'm gonna come this way. Boom, like that. And then it starts over. This way, there. If I can do this looking in the camera without falling over. This way, back like that, and back like that. Let me set this up. All right, now with you guys watching me, this is what it looks like. So left 45, right 45, right 90, left 90, universal, opposite angle, and then you're going back into it. Boom. It's important to drill in these angles specifically because these are your attacking angles, evasion angles, but these also double as attacking angles, your 90 degree, and then your evasion angles on your left 135 and right 135 is what those are, the degrees for that. And so the hands for this is going to be our diagonals, okay? So we've got our diagonal 1, fluid energy strike, going all the way up to the number 2 chamber, coming down, diagonal 2 to the number 3 chamber, diagonal 4 to the number 4 chamber, diagonal 3 to the number 4 chamber, diagonal 4 to the number 1 chamber. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. These strikes, if you learn how to do this, these strikes actually offer the most protection for you and can do a lot of damage as well, all right? So let's put this with the footwork. So standing here on our diagram like we were our ranging star map here, I'm gonna step left 45 and I'm turning my shoulders as I step. When my left foot makes contact, boom, is when the weapon makes contact with its target, and this foot makes contact is when it touches chamber. Then we're gonna go back, leaving it in the number 2 chamber, turning right 45, striking our 2. Notice how it lands when my front foot hits the ground, comes to chamber when my left foot actually, hits the ground, and then I go back to the middle, leaving it in the number 3 chamber. Now I'm gonna step on my 90 degree line, and as I turn my body is when I am striking this. Come back to the middle, and now left 90, boom, with my 4 to the number 1 chamber, back to the middle. Now we're going to do the universal evasion with our angle 1. Come back. Opposite angle is what this is called, with our angle 2, ending in the number 3 chamber. Then we're going to go do our segmented broken footwork and striking on the left 45. And we're starting over, but it's just, now we're doing our angle 3 to the left, angle 4 to the right. Now we're going to turn right 90 with our angle 1, left 90 with the angle 2, ending in the 3 chamber. Now I'm going back with my 3 and back with my 4. And I'm back to the beginning, okay? That's the full sequence. That essentially takes you through the different striking angles and the different footwork angles. All of them for your fluid energies. It's kind of how do I put this? That's all of the basic angles of your striking angles and the basic footwork angles that you need to know, okay? These are like the essentials. If you can do this drill with this weapon, you will be able to defend yourself against most people. I promise you that. So let me do this a couple more times. So left 45, swinging our 1. Right 45, swinging a 2. Coming back, right 90, swinging our angle 3. Left 90, swinging the angle 4. Out on universal with our 1. Opposite angle with the 2. Coming forward with our 3. 4. Right with the angle 1. Angle 2. 3. 4. And back to the beginning. I'm just going to run through it a couple of times just to demonstrate this, all right? 1. And I would keep going. But I won't keep going. That's basically it. That's the drill I got for you guys. I hope it helps. I hope it's something you can use. I hope this information that I gave you in this video was useful to you. It's been something that I've been thinking about since I talked to those people, and so I just wanted to put it up here. You know, take care of yourselves out there. Don't make any bad decisions with weapons, you guys. Give yourselves options. Train, 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 train. Regardless of how you choose to defend yourself. If it's a gun, if it's a knife, if it's a baton, if it's hand to hand, whatever it is, work at it, train it. Don't expect to be able to use it, whatever it is. If you don't train with it, it's not going to be effective. I don't care what you have, okay? Anyway, that's what I got for you guys. If any of you happen to be in the Long Beach, Washington area, and you want to come out to some Call-E classes, I teach free community lessons here in Long Beach, Washington. Actually, right here, I'm in the Grange this time with this video. This is the Long Beach Grange on Sand Ridge. Come out here on Tuesdays nights from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. I also teach at the Long Beach Elementary School in the outdoor basketball court from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on Saturday mornings. Like I said, classes are free. They're a lot of fun. This is an extremely usable art form, you guys, and the people I'm learning from it, they know what they're doing. So, I should say, the people I'm learning it from, they know what they're doing. Anyway, thanks for watching all the way to the end. You're amazing. Love you. God bless. Deuces.